third video from Life Signs. I'm Emmy, if you don't know, and this video is going to be centred around SOS, which is showing our scars. First of all, whether or not you decide to cover up can depend a lot on who you're with, who you're around and how you feel with them. Because I'd be a lot more likely to cover my scars up if I was with close family, because I wouldn't want to show my grandparents, should I say. But like if you're with like a friend or something that you trust, you may be less, concerned, shall we say, about showing them. Often, a lot of the time, people will ask you what happened to you, quite innocently, not suspecting it could be self-injury, just honestly will ask you. This can make you feel automatically defensive and automatically get your guard up, which can mean a lot of the time that the responses come back that are quite sharp when they needn't be. This can make people have the wrong idea, shall we say, about self-injury and how you feel about yourself. I think it's all about being prepared for whether we know what people are going to say and need to be on the guard, sort of prepared for the fact they're going to ask us something. So you need to know what you're going to say. My advice to you mainly would be only show your scars to people if you're willing to explain why. Because like I say, people ask innocently what happened to you if there's a scratch on your arm or something like that. And unless you're willing to answer, things can get a bit awkward. Your scars can often appear so much worse to you than they do to other people. I know I myself am so guilty of this. I always think my scars are 10 times worse than they actually are on my forearms. And my family, my close family that understand about my self-injury, they're always saying, look, it's not that obvious. You only know they're there because you're looking. However, while I still say that your scars will look more severe to you than anyone else, that is not saying that your scars are not noticeable, because I can't judge what your scars are like. Everyone's got different scars, what colour they are, what thickness they are, whether they're like keloid scarring, I don't know, something like that, whether they're raised or flat or just lines. Everyone has different scars and everyone has different motivations behind these scars. But I will definitely say that even if you do have quite obvious scars, they will appear even more obvious to yourself. If you are caught off guard and someone asks about your scars, say something like, oh, it's a long story, something really vague. If you want to be a bit jokey, just say the cat did it. You can say it's a long story, you can say I don't want to discuss it right now, or if you really are feeling quite strong, then say I did it, I hurt myself, and just leave it at that. Being blunt. A lot of the time that'll stop them in their tracks, and you won't have to answer anymore, but even because it will stop them, that still takes a lot of courage. When you are answering their questions, be polite but be firm, because you have got no obligation to tell them anything. You tell them what you want to tell them. When it comes to children, they're naturally inquisitive. I know I've got 2 stepsisters and I'm always very wary that they're going to start asking questions because I've seen them looking a lot of the time at my scars. And a few times they've asked and I've been able to pass it off as the cat did it or something like that. But that's just it. Children are naturally inquisitive and they're going to ask questions. People are going to ask questions, children more so, but your answer will vary depending on your relationship with them and their age, because you're not going to get into deep detail with a child about the emotional struggles you were going through at the time. When it comes to children, I will say though, be careful, because children can imitate behaviour and you really don't want to encourage self-injury onto a child, because a lot of the time they look up to us, so they're looking for a behaviour to copy. Sometimes showing your scars can make you feel so empowered and so strong. Even if you haven't self-harmed for a long time, especially if you haven't self-harmed for a long time, because, I don't know, it's like you're past that, if you know what I mean, and like I think to me, when I show my scars, and I feel empowered by it, I think it's because I feel that I'm not defined by them anymore, and I've got my own life now, I'm not defined by my scars. My most important thing that I will say is that you choose your attitude, no one else. You choose what you want to say, you choose who you tell, and you choose whether you tell them or not. How important are scars anyway? Everybody's got some scars of some kind or another. They may be there, but they don't define you. They're just part of your life and part of the way you decided to deal with it. Move on. You're so much more than the scars on your body. Saying all this, when it comes to a fresh wound, remember first aid. Please. Fresh cuts need to be washed and disinfected and wrapped up properly to allow them to heal. This can prevent infection and any further damage. Also, if a cut becomes infected, it's 10 times more likely to scar, so look after yourself. Cover it cover it up and keep it bandaged. Recent cuts are more upsetting for other people, so it's important to consider that as well, especially young children. When they see a recent cut, it can look a lot more angry and more severe than it maybe is. And it can upset people quite a lot. Like, you never know, they might have gone through a similar thing when they were younger, or even now. You may choose to cover up the recent cuts you have and keep your scars visible. It's your choice. Respect for ourselves combined with respect for other people is the main message of this video that I want to emphasise. You decide when you want to show your scars, but maybe keep in consideration that recent wounds can look really, really severe and may upset a lot of people out there. We're all fighting our own inner battle, and you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I've got loads of links in the description, guys, for the Life Signs website, because there's a lot of information on there for showing scars and a lot of cover-up information and stuff like that, so I'll put a main link to the website. Also, as usual, we've got our support forum. Go on there, sign up, meet lots of like-minded people, and you can talk to them and get support from them. And we're all on there as well, all the Life Signs heads and stuff, so. Stay strong, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye!